Welcome back to the Geek Central podcast. We're sorry for last week that we couldn't upload one, as we did record one, but the footage became corrupted, so we had to rush to make a video. It ended up being super hot, which we thought you would enjoy a non-commentary of. But today we're merging last week's topics and this week's topics together to give you a pretty medium-sized episode that hopefully that'll make up for our error last week. So if you were celebrating Halloween, as I know all of you might have, because you couldn't go trick-or-treating and go to parties because of the pandemic, the Halloween Kills trailer got released. So of course, Halloween 2018. And then as soon as after that, John Carpenter announced two other films called Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, which you're supposed to release that following year, but of course got delayed due to scheduling concerns and then of course the pandemic. But the trailer got released on Halloween, very fitting for the name. So yeah, Callum, what do you think of this?
I mean, it's pretty hype. Like, good to see these new films coming out. Do you know if there's an ETA on the release yet, or?
They did say that they would try to go for like October, like I think it was October 15th, 2021.
21. Of course, I mean, the only thing I'm worrying about is due to the pandemic and the filming, I'm not sure if the quality of the films will be affected. And I'm hoping that they will retain a high quality even through this.
Yeah. Okay. So that, of course, if you looked at the trailer very briefly, they didn't really show a lot, and I'm guessing it's because they wanted to tide people over so they could stop them from going uproar. So, oh, where's the new Halloween? You promised us this. So of course they released a teaser, then a trailer, which didn't show a lot. It showed us like bits of horror, but didn't show us not really very much of the story. Of course, Jamie Lee Curtis will be back in it as Laurie Strode, which of course is fantastic. As it's a very girl power movie. What I realised recently, it's a very women power to women movie, because they show women as very dominant and strong, and they can take down a supernatural force that's unstoppable. So of course, moving on to the next topic. Of course, as a tradition, it seems like in our episodes, we have to talk about the Batman. So the Batman has been confirmed to be using the same strip of road as the Harvey Dent, where the scene in Dark Knight where Harvey Dent's in the police escort in the little armored truck after he gives up himself, saying he's Batman when of course he isn't, and the Joker tries to kill him in the medication truck by shooting it and then blowing the truck up. So, Callum, what do you think of this? That they're using the same strip of road?
I mean, I think it's really just showing the links between these scenes.
Yeah.
I think it's just trying to make a sort of continuous narrative,
Yeah.
And it's just really for the more observers. I forget the word. The fans,
Observant.
The more observative fans, to just give them more things, just make it deeper lore for the fans.
Yeah, like little Easter eggs here and there that that you'll be watching in the cinema and whisper to your friend, "Oh, that's the same strip of road they used in The Dark Knight. That's really cool." Moving on to very a Marmite topic, and what I mean by Marmite, you either love this game or you absolutely hate it. There is no middle ground for this game. And of course, I'm talking about the post-hype game called Fortnite.
Yeah, it's rewind time. Yeah, if I control rewind, I would want Fortnite.
That gained its popularity in around 2018, 2019, then suddenly just crashed into the ground, and only really gained hype with that stupid little the Fortnite map got swallowed, and they showed that little black hole thing for like, I think it was solid like 3 days, making 9-year-olds and 12-year-olds everywhere shiver and just go nuts. How am I going to get my KD up now? So Epic Games has confirmed that Fortnite will have a confirmed day one release for the Xbox Series X and PS5, meaning as soon as you get that new next gen console, you can play your favorite game, Fortnite. Of course, it will remain free unless you want to pay for that really super duper skin and steal your mum's credit card. I know. Me and Callum used to play Fortnite a lot, and there was like a little rough. There was like a little moment where we nearly played it quite a lot, and then all of a sudden we just stopped playing and moved on because Fortnite became boring. But we play it every now and again if we have nothing else better to do. So, what do you think of this, Callum?
I mean, the downfall. Was anyone really surprised?
No.
Like, when it first came out, it's quite original. It's an interesting
Definitely.
game control, but over the time, it's just they're not adding anything new or interesting to keep people's attention. Like, the player base is just going to keep dropping and dropping until they release what the players actually want, instead of releasing more Marvel superheroes, which, who cares?
Did you see? Oh yeah, just in case if you didn't notice, they added saw this on Twitter, and I was debating whether to put this in it and decided not to, as it's only a skin. They added Ghost Rider into the item shop.
Like, they're
Which
really
is just so
reaching.
stupid. And I think one of the emotes is him riding around on his motorbike.
Like, Ghost Rider, yeah, pretty sick guy. How many of the 10-year-olds play Fortnite are gonna know who he is?
I know. Like, they'll look him up and see like, oh, they'll just go, oh, he's a mid tier. I might get cancelled for this, but a mid tier superhero. If you count him serious, I guess he's like an anti-hero. He does things for his own gain, but still, he's not that popular as the Avengers or Justice League and Batman v Superman and stuff. It's not as big as that. And I swear, didn't Nicolas Cage play him? Nick Cage.
I think he did at one point, actually.
Yeah, he did it in the movie, which was all right. I mean, it satisfied you as a movie watcher, I would say, and not really, like not like the first ever Avengers where you would go, oh my god, that's gonna, that's worth billions, and I'm gonna watch every single one. If a Ghost Rider 2 came out, I would definitely skip it, unless it was bringing something new to the table and not just rehashing Nick Cage. But yeah, if you want to buy the Ghost Rider skin, which is a legendary skin, so it's going to cost you a hefty amount of V-Bucks, go for it. I mean, yeah, just straight go for it, have fun, and enjoy that stupid Ghost Rider skin. So yeah, Fortnite have a confirmed day one release for the Xbox Series X, PS5. It's free, so I would download it just in case, some of your other games aren't day one releases, and you just have that Fortnite's just that game where you'll play for a couple of days, and then the other games will come out, and then you can just delete it, or just stay in your game library until one day you go, oh, Fortnite, huh? So, with this, speaking of next gen, also next gen's, I think Nintendo's trying to keep up, and there's been rumors of a Nintendo Switch Pro, which is similar to like the Xbox One S and stuff. It's a bit better, so they're just going to tack on that Pro at the end so they can charge higher for it. It's rumored to have 4K and Breath of the Wild 2, the Zelda game. I know you have a Switch, Callum. Would you buy the Nintendo Pro if it had like better things?
Hell yeah.
You would?
I mean,
What?
hype.
Yeah, it's high. Yeah. How much do you think, if it has 4K in a new Zelda game, how much would you fork out, do you think?
Damn, I mean, not how much I'll personally fork out, but my estimate on the price.
Yeah. That's
Original
what I mean,
Switch was like, if I remember, like 300, like probably like around the 500 range. I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, I would think that too. They're trying to compete with the Xbox Series X's and PS5 specs with 4K. But yeah, if you enjoy Nintendo, and it's portable as well, it'll be portable, definitely. So that's always a plus with video game consoles, as you can't take your router or the new Xbox fridge with you on the go, unless you have like a gigantic suitcase that you're willing to haul around with the cables in. For you PC builders out there, or you're interested in PC parts and how they're run, then of course the powerhouse, the mitochondria of the PC, the CPU. AMD's a big player, and AMD's mostly focusing on gaming, while Intel's mostly focusing on like workstations, for scientists, school people, and teachers, and that, and just like for office workers. But the AMD announced Ryzen 5000 series that have 12 cores and 24 threads, and a 4.9 gigahertz clock speed, which means you can play anime hunky body simulator 2020 while talking to your mother while she's arguing how much of a disappointment you are. Are you much into PC building, or do you usually buy pre-builds?
Well, I haven't really delved into PC building. I'd say I'm interested, but
Mm-hmm.
I've had this PC I'm using for quite a while now, so I haven't really had a need to upgrade parts.
Yeah. And so I think your PC can play most games. Maybe not like the newest ones, but like some like most games at like 1080p, if I'm right.
Like it can play, I'd say it can play up to the most recent games, but I wouldn't say the most recent ones on high settings.
Yeah, so like not like Assassin's Creed Valhalla and stuff. Very like spec hogging titles.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Ryzen 5000 series, and of course they announced their new GPUs as well, which will be a perfect pairing with that, and will give you like it'll give you 4K, and it'll give you at least I think it's 120 FPS plus more if you have that pairing, and of course a smart memory, which means they'll work hand in hand as well to give you that little bit of a performance boost as well. Of course, it's starting at $299, which is a pretty cheap price for a 12-core CPU. Well, of course, if you want, higher clock speed and I think more cores, then I think it goes up to $1,099. So that's a big jump from $300. This one's, I'm just gonna say this one. So of course, there's a room if you're into Samsung and maybe Android. There's rumors of a new Galaxy phone, the S30. That's what they're calling it. No specs have come through. It's just rumors at the moment. But Samsung have been pretty quiet this year, I think. So this could be their big ace in the hole with the the iPhone 12 coming out and stuff. Are you a big Samsung fan, or do you prefer iPhone?
I prefer iPhone purely for the specs either side. You can argue who has better. I just prefer the iPhone interface really.
Yeah, I know I do too. I've tried Android, I think, multiple times, and it's just not for me. I definitely prefer iPhone. So for people that bought PS5, it should be coming soon, definitely. As they're seeing on Twitter, people are starting to receive the new PlayStations. But if you're hoping to use your 1 TB, Seagate expansion drive, plug that baby into the back and just fill it with loads of games and apps. Well, sorry to burst your bubble, but you can't. External drives won't work for games. You'll have to use the internal, which the internal drive only comes with 500 gigabytes at max. It's really stupid. As I know, I have an Xbox One still, and I have a 1 TB hard drive plugged in the back of it, and that's enough. And I think I still have some space left over for new games and that. I know right now I'm installing Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War at the moment, and it's on 20%. Yeah. So what do you think of that? That the unfair, you can't store any games on your expansion, have to be installed on the internal, and you can't move it.
Well, I've always had the personal opinion that the PlayStation consoles, and I think this just gives an upper hand to the Xbox market.
I don't know if will be bleeped, but I agree that the PlayStation sucks. Razer, the people that make the fancy light up keyboards and mouses, and then the laptops too, have unveiled a new laptop which is not made for gaming. They're trying to compete with Apple with their MacBooks and HP with their their workbooks, and it's called the Razer Book 13, and it'll cost $1,200 and come in predominantly white. Predominantly white. It'll have mid-tier specs, so you'll be able to do your work on it and maybe do some like small games like Among Us or Minecraft on the side. Are you a big fan of Razer?
Razer, I mean, I've always liked their products.
Yeah.
Quite nice, I'd say. It's a very limited market, as they're often quite pricey.
Yeah. We're gonna have a special guest joining probably in a minute. I think Ruben is gonna join, as he was a little bit late to the recording. That's why we usually record on a Saturday at 11:30, but he might join later, so you might hear him just pop in a bit. So if you enjoy Fantastic Beasts, the mid-tier Harry Potter movies that are all right. If you've been following the news of Johnny Depp at the moment, I won't go into it. Then Johnny Depp, they've basically removed him from the films. They've said that he won't be in the new one as Grindelwald. So I don't know how they're gonna, fit that into the story. Maybe that Grindelwald has gone to the Bahamas, and maybe Dumbledore ran away with him, and they're in the Bahamas, get married, and have 2 children. I have no idea.
Between the Grindelwald had a sudden heart attack.
Grindelwald dies on the beach as looking at the sun, much like Johnny Depp's career. Are you a big fan of Fantastic Beasts?
Pretty aight. That's about all I can say, really.
Yeah. I mean, like, of course, the big thing with J.K. Rowling at the moment now. Again, I won't go into it as it's a pretty sensitive subject still, and I want this to keep it to PG-13 for now. And of course, as we said in the update, we won't have an After Dark one where we'll swear, so we can say without ever getting bleeped. So from a high note, we're going to go to a somber note. Of course, our first ever episode, Chadwick Boseman, an elite person in the Marvel Universe and other films, passed away due to, I think it was stomach cancer. And now Sean Connery, made famous for being the first ever James Bond, and I think that the definitive version of James Bond. I know when I think of James Bond, I see him. He passed away in his sleep at the ripe old age. I think it was around in his late 80s. But he's definitely better than Daniel Craig and then all the others. I know Sean Connery was an amazing James Bond. Do you agree with me, Callum? Have you watched any of the James Bonds?
I have, and it's a shame to see him go. But it was going to happen eventually, and it's lucky that his career
was so ripe, because he came from nothing. He was a Scottish schoolboy that just suddenly got boosted into stardom with James Bond.
Yeah. It's lucky that he got through what he did in his career.
Yeah,
before he was
definitely
taken away.
And of course, he was the only Scottish James Bond. He had a Scottish accent when he was playing James Bond. So even though James Bond is, of course, supposed to have like a posh British accent, Sean Connery said, "No, I'm going to be Scottish, or at least have a Scottish accent." But we're sorry for the. Let's end it there. We're sorry for the not uploading the podcast again. The footage got corrupted, and our editor couldn't revive it, so to say, from his hard drive. So we uploaded that super hot video to hopefully fill the void of your podcast, geek-centric podcast need. I want to thank Callum for being here and giving his opinion on these topics. And I want to thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe and comment down below what your favourite topic was. Follow us on Instagram, Geek Central Podcast, and on Twitter at Geek Central Pod. And we'll see you next week. Maybe an election special, maybe, as even though this was recorded after the election, and we know who the results are, we'll do an election special where, just like the Halloween special, we'll have a few topics and we'll talk about the election. The first time politics have been talked about, apart from Callum's slip up when he started going into the 5G causes COVID debacle that we debated whether we should cut out because it was very political, but George said it was funny as a joke, and so we decided to keep it in. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe and all of that. Follow us on our social medias down below, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out, my brother.